Hello and welcome to the New Fringe podcast. I'm not gonna lie, I've done this intro quite a few times now, but there's a dog bark in the background and it's starting to wear a little bit thin. So let's hope. Alright, I can just hear a car door slamming now. But let's hope this is the one. But on today's episode, we've got a really sort of, I would say, insightful but also historic. Because we're going to sort of go from the past to sort of a predicted future. I'll keep that as a surprise what I mean. But I think it's sort of not only insightful but sort of hopeful, which is I think what we need coming out of COVID. So on today's episode we've got Sam Teale Price, who's the owner of the Library Bar and Lounge. I don't think it's been open long. I think he speaks in the podcast of sort of setting it up over a few months, and he's gonna talk a bit about what the scene is to him and where he thinks the scene's going and everything he's sort of put into this bar and how he sees the community. And we've also got Bipolar Abdul, who is one of the residents. She sort of talks about being the mother drag, so attracting talent. So we've got like a really nice like mix. We've got like the owner of like the establishment, and we've got like the performer as well, and you get to see how they interact and they sort of like bond this community. And we're also talking about sort of getting rid of the word different, because you know we are living in this multicultural society where it is now becoming more acceptable to be who you are. So we're not really just talking about any sort of group. We're talking about your background, your fashion, your religion. We're sort of talking about it's a big enough world for us all to be in. So let's try and remove this word different, and let's not try and stigmatize anything to tradition or to default, as these guys will say. It's also really interesting because they also talk about the idea of just asking questions, because I'm a straight guy and I sometimes worry about asking not necessarily the wrong question, but I don't want to ask a question what's been asked too many times and they're gonna sort of roll their eyes. But they sort of talk, just shoot from the hip and just ask questions, and try to watch your wording. Try to think what might be offensive to others. What a word to you what might be offensive, not offensive, might be offensive to others. And I think I would probably have words in my own vocabulary what I use, what I don't mean any great offence by, but they probably do offend others. I mean, my parents were always telling me to stop swearing. To me, swearing's completely fine, but I understand to others it's not, and I do try to curve that. So it's just sort of being mindful of others. So this is a great episode. We got Sam, who's going to give like sort of the business side, but also what it means to him. And it's really nice to see a business owner so passionate, about the community he's helping. And he also talks about the area. He also talks about for every thing what's happened, what hasn't been so nice. He's also spoke about a flip side to that, where people have been so loving and so caring. And this is sort of the message we want to get out there. We all live on this world together, and let's remove those obstacles. Let's try and things are improving. I mean, there's always going to be like it's going to be a little, when you start a movement, let's just say people always struggle at first. They always go against the grain of what's happened because they don't want anything uprooted. But over time, what's uprooted just becomes norm. And also, Bipolar is going to be talking about her performance, but really in depth. Towards the end, she really goes in depth and really talks about what it actually means to be an artist, not feeding into the mainstream and just being happy on her own terms, which is what we need for the sake of mental health. You can do incredible things. You don't have to always reach for some ridiculous level what is unattainable. Alright, I've spoken enough. Let's get on with this episode. Enjoy. Oh yeah, and we'll also link in the description Bipolar Abdul's Instagram, so you can check out some of her performances. Stuff is really innovating. It's not what you think. It's really interesting. Comes from the heart as well. We talk about that in the podcast. And I'll also link the website to the bar, so you can check that out and see what's happening. All right, enjoy.
Yeah. Don't know if the changing rooms are open to everyone, but sadly. But no, we're very strange Saturday last week.
Yeah.
But like we said, we started off this journey with we are human and anyone is welcome, as long as they don't cause a scene and
are respectful.
Yeah. And there were a couple that weren't and got ejected, and there were people that were respectful and stayed all night and had an amazing time.
So straight people allowed in, but
of course.
Not,
everyone's allowed in.
If it's too rowdy, maybe.
Yeah, or if they're being like
offensive.
Yeah. Because we've got everyone from new to the community. We've got everyone just going through transitions and they're trans. There's all sorts of different levels of people that are coming into that place, and they don't want to sit there thinking, am I being looked at? They want to be surrounded by people that are respectful and generally know the community anyway. And we don't want that to ever drop from our well, it's a pub, it's a bar. We don't want that to ever drop. It's our community, and if anyone feels threatened in that safe space, well, I wouldn't say they've got me to deal with because I can't do that much.
They've got me to deal with.
They've got bouncers that can sort of.
Do you get like a lot of like bandwagon jumping, like people just coming to like a trend, or?
Well, I don't think we've been open long enough to know that yet, and I don't think you really get that. One thing that does happen a lot in like LGBT bars is it becomes a haven for like groups of straight women.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, like. And I don't mind that at all. That's great because like women don't feel safe generally.
No, just like protection.
Yeah, so they would rather go to a gay bar and feel safe, knowing
have the best night compared to what they'd be doing walking down Teale Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought we could if we could start just at like the past. Like so, talking a bit about how it was then, and then if we can move to like how it is now, and then how you see it in the future.
Right.
I think that'd be good for viewers to get hold of how things maybe are progressing.
Yeah.
So past wise, what was the scene like here for the community?
It is a bit laughable, isn't it? Because it's not really comparable. You start off from because my gay time came out further into my life. I think you've probably been more with the community longer than me, haven't you?
Using the phrase "the scene" is
non-existent.
Yeah. Obviously we had Vine years ago, and then we had Crystal's Bar NY, and All Cross. But it was always kind of like, all right then, gays, here you go, here's your space, now shut up and just get on with it. You've got your bar. But they were never of like any quality at all. Holes walls, no running water, no toilet doors. It was literally just given to us to shut us up.
What year is this?
We're still talking 2000s.
Yeah.
Maybe 2000. I left school in 2005, so it must have been 2006 or 7 when you could look 18 and go out. And still get into bar and wine.
Yeah, and then like the whole cross was like exactly the same. That was where I started like my drag journey. And it was like there was never any stock, because we weren't getting people in, because it wasn't a very nice bar, and it was just this catch-22 all the time. So that shut down in the end, and we were left with like nothing, like that were it. So like all the queer people in Doncaster just retreated back into their own homes, and like we just didn't have anywhere to go. I'm not like massively overtly queer, I suppose, like my partner's male and whatever, but like I'd never go to a bar on Silver Street.
Yeah.
So like I don't think you and Craig would be right into doing that.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
And I can't do the bars on Silver Street. Something about them. There's an energy about them I don't like.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bad vibe.
Yeah. We're very open people, and we quite extrovert ourselves. But I wouldn't. My anxiety walking down Silver Street. Yeah, even dressed, I would say, as straight as I possibly could be, because that's what I have to do to walk down there and feel okay. I didn't want that for our bar.
Is it like a music thing, or is it a culture thing? Or?
It's definitely a culture thing.
Yeah.
It's I suppose like the older I got as well, like into my 20s, I started looking really quite non-binary, and that's just something that can't be on Silver Street. I just can't be on Silver Street. You've got blokes looking at you, and you're sat and you're thinking they don't know whether they want to fight me or shag me.
Well, no, you've seen a documentary, don't you?
Yeah.
When Lindsay's walking down the street, a guy starts on her.
Yeah.
And it's everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. If you walk down Silver Street, somebody's going to start on you.
Yeah.
Because that's people go looking for a fight, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's that thing of just always looking over your shoulder. You're always worried. Who's looking at me? What do they think? I don't look like everybody else. It's just a terrible culture. So then we were left at this point where, like, if we wanted a night out, then we were going to Leeds. because there's not really a gay scene in Sheffield either.
Yeah.
So we were having to like travel to get that community feeling. Me and Ebony White started a monthly night called Fluidity, but we were running it out of straight bars. You know, we were trying to like chant it out as this safe space, but really we could never 100% give the community that. The best it ever was when we started with you and Craig doing it out the back room of the castle, but it still wasn't great because like the clientele in the front.
It was a make do, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And I know that like my trans friends probably wouldn't come to that because it still wasn't what it needed to be for them. So really the Doncaster scene has been more troughs than peaks, in my opinion, definitely.
Yeah,
What about you?
I agree. We set out to make our bar because there was nothing. Like we've said, people did retreat back into their homes, and that's not from a lockdown point of view. That is just because they felt they couldn't go and be themselves outside.
Like isolated. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we've walked through Doncaster today and probably got more looks than anything else, of just because we look slightly different, and just being ourselves. And really, why should that be a thing these days? Yes, we are in Donny. I'm actually quite proud to be from Donny.
Yes, same.
But do you know what? I'd love to change everyone's mindset, and the amount of bad press we got when we went live with this pub is unbelievable. But do you know what? The amount of love and support over the top of it cancelled out that massively. We got people sending horrible things that they would never step foot in a dirty place like that when we made it probably one of the nicest looking bars in Doncaster.
Oh, he's actually like hate. Is this like a hate crime speech, or is it just like trolls or?
Yeah, went on Doncaster Free Press. I did an interview. It went live, and within an hour it had 400 comments on it.
And this is like now.
This is February that went out, and yeah, we had to basically get our supporters at Doncaster Pride to put a post on there saying, look, there's a lot of hate speech on here. Nobody is monitoring this from a free press point of view, or even a police point of view. We've already notified the police. The people will be reprimanded who are on here saying these things. But our community came to our defence, and obviously we came to our own defence as well, and just went, look guys, this is a bar, this is a safe space, this is a great thing for Doncaster. We're moving into modern times now. We're not. we need to move. So yeah, I think that was the first shock for me, that we could, as out gay men, my husband and I, we've had this kind of hate from opening a bar that needed to be open. It's another business in Doncaster that had closed down for 14 years, that bar, and we opened it to be that space where we wanted everyone to come and just have a great time and hold hands with whoever they wanted to hold hands with and kiss whoever they wanted to kiss, outside of COVID. But yeah, so that it was a slight dampener, but to see all of that love and support come on top of that was just immense for us, and that was the reason we'd done this bar. And then we already had our amazing queens at the house who do the Fluidity night and came over from the castle to support us, and their social media presence and their presence within local press and wider community as well just really helped too. So great collab between us both. So yeah, it was a shock, but we're future.
Is like an age to the haters, or is it? Because I feel like my generation, like younger generation, we're sort of growing up with like a multicultural society, so I think we're a lot more. We just accept it now, and we all look different anyway.
Yeah.
So is it like an older generation thing, or is it like?
It is, but we get a varying range of people in the library, don't we?
Yeah.
Our community in general, there is every age range. There's every diversity in there. We're not just talking about, when we talk about our community, we're not just talking about the LGBT part of it. We're talking about anyone who feels ostracised or pushed to the outsides of society. Anyone from an art world, anyone from the performance world. There's people that are not necessarily how someone from Doncaster, straight person, would class as normal. We're the people who want to come together and be that community and be a bit mad on a Saturday night and have a great time and not feel like we're looked upon from that Silver Street point of view mentality over at our pub, even where we're literally so close to everything and an accessible train and all that kind of stuff if people want to come from further afield. But yeah, there's a varied range of us, age, sexes, creeds, whatever, in our community. We're not just the gays in that gay bar.
Well, that's why I want to start this podcast, because when I came back, because I've always felt isolated here being a filmmaker. I've always felt like I'm the only filmmaker, even though if I knew that wasn't true, I couldn't get in contact with them. And what COVID's done, the one good thing, it's sort of like brought us all under one roof.
Yeah.
So there's like, I've been introduced to 3 or 4 different filmmakers now, so I feel less lonely. And I thought for the podcast, if we can actually start going to different communities and getting their real voice, because even with the free press, you can twist things, and you can misprint things. Because I'm not going to say who, but I've done an article for somebody, and I wasn't really keen of how it turned out. I didn't think it represented what I was trying to do. And then you've also got like higher ups who misunderstand what you're trying to do as well. It can be. Are you guys all right with that?
Yeah.
Have you got good support from high up, or
from
like the council or anything like that?
We've got a great support from Doncaster Pride, who, I mean, it's led by Doncaster Council. I think there's probably a lot of work to be done at our council to recognise us as a group. Definitely, but from a Pride point of view, which is going to be very different this year, but still going ahead, it's the support is great.
That's really good then. But how do you see this, like? So do you think in the future things are going to get better, or do you think it's going to be like another 5 years of the same, like treading water a little bit?
I've maybe got a different answer to you. Let's see.
It's a weird one, that, because like a lot of things are like being shed by like Gen Z, and they're kind of like coming through with the real stuff and like getting to grips with things. But then when I used to be a youth worker, I saw a lot of things get passed down like generationally, opinions and things like that. So it's trying to get people out of those opinions. I think things are being seen more as like a giant grey area rather than just black or white. I think gender's starting to be seen as like, here are your 2 binaries, but then it's just a scale between the 2, or you can dance around them. It's not just you are this or this. You can be this, or 50 other things in between. And I think that whole concept of fluidity is coming through a lot more in younger people, especially now we have the phrase non-binary, and people, it's normally older people that say, it's all these new things that are coming to light, but it's not new, it's just...
So you're saying it's like passed down from like an old generation down?
Yeah, but like it's not new, it's just the people that felt this way in the past just shut up and got on, or were just referred to as weird. Whereas now, by giving it a name, non-binary, we can talk about it more. I think gender is fluid in everybody, and I think it's society that's forced us to not be.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I think when you think about gender and you think about gender roles, everything about it is what society has told us.
No, I think there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the next generation are getting to grips with that a lot more. I can see it in my daughter and her friends, that it's a lot easier. It's the shedding the norms and the stereotypes. It's not as weird for like girls to have short hair, and not want to wear skirts. It's not as weird for boys to want to wear makeup. And like, why should it be? Like, it's all just an outlet for you to express who you are. So I think it will get better, and it is getting better. I don't think it'll be perfect in 5 years, but I think with every year that passes there will be a slight improvement, which is great. But I think places like Doncaster, like obviously cities, they accelerate faster than we do. I think places like Doncaster, it will take a bit longer. But it's definitely happening, it's definitely moving. People are asking the right questions, they want the right information. But it will be a bit slower, I think, than like Manchester or London.
No, I agree with that. I think there's a lot of truth in the gender fluidity, because I think we all tap into both constantly. Constantly,
yeah. I think as well now we like how things are set up, and it used to be the women stayed at home and raised the kids, and the men went to work. Well, now like everybody's got to have a full-time job in order to survive. So like we're having to divide all the other things that you would see as man's jobs and women's jobs. They're getting split equally down the middle.
Or you're getting like the woman who's earning the most and the guy who's not, or staying at home.
Yeah.
And it's sort of been more acceptable for that.
Yeah, and it's just breaking down these little barriers like all the time. In society, just knocking it down until it's just what is gender. It's completely a social construct.
Well, it's interesting. I feel like in the 70s, like we started getting somewhere with like love and like free speech, and I feel like we lost it.
Yeah.
And then I feel like we're slowly. I know it's difficult at the moment. You know, you can't really say things, so you get in trouble. But I think we're getting closer to like free speech and everybody loving each other.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna. I think the pendulum's gonna swing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What would your answer be?
I think we're a generation and a half away from feeling comfortable in a good 90% situations. Everything probably that you said I agree with, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's gender is a lot more fluid now, and we owe a lot to TV being locked in. I'm not going to say any high profile names or anything like that, because we all make our own decisions. But yeah, TV, especially over lockdown, has really opened. Do you know what? It's even opened my eyes. Opening a bar at Doncaster's first really open bar, that's opened my eyes as well, as an always gay man. Meeting all these amazing queens and other people that come into our bar has been an amazing eye-opening experience for me. But yeah, we're slightly behind in Doncaster of where we need to be at this moment in time. It'd be a perfect world if we could just say, do you know what, people can walk down the street and feel absolutely fine, and their gender is not playing any part in their social standing, that how much they're earning, the day-to-day life, how they're viewed by other people. It'd be amazing to say that, but yeah, I think we've still got a bit of work to do on that. But do you know what, if it's opening a small bar down a back street in Doncaster, if it's us just doing a podcast, or just raising awareness everywhere of people are just people and we are all human.
Do you think it's like a fashion thing as well? 'Cause I feel like fashion's getting more interesting.
Yeah.
Like you can just do so much. Old styles coming back, new styles being invented. So do you think with that as well, that could be a big help?
I think, yeah, like drag's getting more mainstream, so we're seeing more like gender bending stuff. In that, Bimini's just done a whole piece in Vogue. And then also you've got people like Lil Nas X, that's like in this massively male-dominated, masculine industry, that's wearing fishnets and pole dancing down to hell and being so openly queer and just not caring about it. That to be done now is incredible. Think like nobody would have done that 10 years ago. Nobody would have dared, you know, in like the rap industry. So yeah, I think fashion does play like a major part in it.
It's gonna be. I was thinking that it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the football world.
Yeah.
When more footballers start coming out, I think that's going to change a lot of stuff.
Because it goes to newspapers and it's the biggest thing ever.
Well, the idols, aren't
masculine,
they?
Yeah.
To children, the idols, footballers.
And why shouldn't that idol be a queer person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think there's still that like sort of ostracised in that community?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, there's a massive stigma in sports. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think especially mainstream sports. You go to the outskirts of maybe Olympic sports and that kind of thing, and it's very mainstream, I would say. But anything in football, rugby, typically what everyone would class as a masculine sport is not. And if they want to call it the beautiful game, get some beautiful people coming out, being as queer as they want to be on that pitch and doing whatever they want to do. And what people do behind closed doors, as long as it's legal, is right,
of course,
and good and just. So
what do you think? What do you think makes the area behind other areas? Do you think it is a cultural thing?
Yeah,
it's a cultural thing. We're next mining towns and villages around us. I think probably from maybe a politician point of view, we need some different opinions about our community. Like I say, even though the council is very much a part of Pride, it's still a council-led thing. Luckily, Pride sorts itself out and makes it as proud and as queer as it needs to be, because it's got great people behind it. But yeah, our council is probably very. We are Labour, and in a Labour-led area. So yeah, being a bit more out there and is.
Where do you think Doncaster will get up there with Manchester or?
No, probably not.
Or do you think it's going to be like, because I feel like the art scene's growing.
Yeah,
with like new friends. So do you think it's going to be like, off the back of that, it's going to be like a community, and it won't change the area? Or do you think the area will change with the community as well?
I think we and I'll say communities, whether it's the art scene or I know you are art scene as well as drag and everything.
Yeah.
So I'd say our communities, we need to be accepting of other people as well. I think there's quite a lot of maybe straight people that want to put a hand in our community and help out, and we call them allies, don't we? Our straight friends who identify as straight and they're cisgender. But there are times where I think they're a bit scared to do that, and we need to be open-armed to say, do you know what, we're as open as you are with your sexuality as we are with our sexuality in our community, so yeah, let's work together and be as collaborative as we possibly can. But I think there's scared from that side.
No, I get that, but I think that's pressure from other people, because people are putting pressure in to say the wrong thing. I think they're usually pretty chill, but I think there's pressure, and they're thinking, oh, don't say that. But if they can, get rid of that. I think
that's probably our job to be as open as we can. And not be overly as offended if anyone gets anything wrong, and as long as there's a respect level and an apology coming from it if they do feel that we've got something wrong, that's it. But other than that, we are, as a community, very open, as we are with everything, to be questioned. And I love people asking me about.
Yeah, I do. Like we always say, if you've got any questions that you might feel are a little bit offhand, or you don't know if it is, and you just feel a bit weird about it, come to the library and ask drag queens.
Well, it's a learning experience, isn't it?
Yeah. My number one aim being in drag is to support and educate. If you ask me a question and it's, you say a word in it that's not great, then I'll say, we don't use that word, but this is what we say instead. And it's I will never get mad at anybody for wanting information about my community, because ignorance breeds hatred. So if I can educate, spread information, then we'll be on the right track. If I tell one person, they'll tell somebody else, and before you know it, we've got all the right information going around everywhere.
Well, it's like when you go on holiday. If you see a place on TV and then when you actually go there, it's nothing like you've seen on TV. It's either better or worse, but you learn more about it firsthand, I think.
Yeah.
Which is why the podcast as well, because it's raw and you can just get the essence of somebody straight away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've learned so much over the past few months than I thought I knew enough about our community. I knew nothing really. I knew that much of that much in infinity. So yeah, even down to gender markers and all that side of our trans community really, opened my eyes to a brand new pool of friends, I can now call them, that I didn't even know were even in Doncaster, but they're coming to our bar. So
is it like a growing community then? Or is it there's more people, you find more people?
Yeah, and it's one of these things, I think, because we've never really had a proper scene, you're not aware of it. And going back to what you were saying before, I think part of the reason that we could be slower, progressing, is because there's been no exposure to standard Doncaster people, to big groups of queer people just living life. Doncaster's got an absolutely huge trans youth community, and I didn't even realise it until one Pride year. We were getting ready to do the parade, and I turned round and there were all these young trans lads behind me, loads of them, and my heart just swelled up and I could have cried, and I thought I had no idea.
The parades are massive, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because thank you for organising, but I got a day off work. I got stuck on the bus, trying to get out of the town. Yeah. So thank you for that, whoever organised that. But yeah, they're massive now. Yeah. It's thousands and thousands. And I think they come from everywhere as well, don't they?
Yeah.
Manchester, London.
Yeah. All those people that literally follow Pride around the country and the world, really.
Yeah. I think we've got the best one in South Yorkshire now as well.
Yeah. I've heard that. It's got top rating, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the acts, the way it's set out. Yeah, it's brilliant. And this year it's going to be still here, COVID safe, but different around Doncaster rather than just being in one place. So
is there a date to that? Because it's
7th or 8th of August, whichever is the Saturday.
I always think it's Saturday, but we're having the Pride week, so we've got 2 of the pubs that are hosting acts throughout the week, and then the Saturday is the big Pride day as such. But it is a full week event, and I think it has either come out just today or yesterday or last couple of days. The actual the programme of events, what's happening, and it's huge, absolutely huge. It takes the whole of Donny is included.
Is Art Bomb the 7th?
Yeah, it's same day as Art Bomb.
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be interesting then, because that's gonna be 2 different events playing off each other. Because Art Bomb is loads of stuff happening. It's like stand up, it's films being shown.
Yeah, I think I've got some videos in Art Bomb.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. I think this could be really interesting.
Yeah.
Because if Art Bomb hops on the back as well,
I think we're gonna nip and see Art Bomb. We were gonna do I mean, I don't know if this is like set in stone yet, but we were going to do an alternative parade down Aldgate if they got a road closure, and we were going to have loud ailers and talk about like the first Pride and stuff, but just the four of us, because I think that would be quite striking.
Yeah.
Well, how long has the Pride March been going on in Doncaster? It feels like 10 years at least.
It's
10
more than that.
Yeah,
More.
I think it's 50. Is it not 15 years in total?
I think so. I remember the first one, it was like one man on his wheelbarrow. It was tiny, wasn't it?
What's this? So is a guy going around the...
No, just I mean like.
Oh, right,
all right.
just,
Tiny.
I was going to say, I was like...
Someone trying to fight
Yeah,
balls
that's
on the road.
That's the image I have in my head.
Yeah, I remember it were.
Yeah, but it has year on year. It's not even sort of like just gradually grown. It's like gone bang. There's another one. Bang. There's another one, and it's gone bigger, and taken up the main spaces in Donny as well. It's not just like in a little
like
somewhere.
Sheffield. It's tucked away, and they don't like it. Like I know, like loads of queer people in Sheffield say they don't like it because it's like Shovel Gazing Park on edge of the city, because it's at Endcliffe Park, so it's right out. So they don't like that.
And we're loud and proud in the
this has got like a Paris
close all
feel.
the roads. Here we are.
You know, in Paris, when they really like riot and they really protest, it's got that feel to it.
Yeah,
it's quite anarchic.
There's some oomph from our community that it gets on that week, and
But do you think that's because it's like a smaller town? Do you think it's that sort of thing?
But do you know what? It's supported by everyone throughout Yorkshire. Really, it's a good. Everybody comes to Donny for the Pride. So I wouldn't say it's just our team in Donny. It's a good effort by everyone.
I'm just starting to notice that like smaller towns and cities, they seem to do things bigger.
Yeah.
Like a lot of filmmakers are coming from like Cornwall now. A little like we're here as well. Put myself in that. Like people are coming from like anywhere now.
Yeah.
And I feel like London, Manchester, and Edinburgh, they're sort of getting, I don't know, maybe a bit caught.
I know what you mean. I think you get it's more concentrated when you go to a smaller town. I mean, we're not that huge at all, really. From we're not even a city. At all.
No, I think we keep applying, don't we, for a city?
Yeah, I think it's this Minster/cathedral point of view. If you've got a cathedral, you can be a city. If you've got a Minster, you're only a town still. But
we've got no like skyscrapers now, have we?
Yeah, well, we'll get some.
I think like Manchester Pride. That's like I have no interest in that. Because
the commercialised
it's like capitalist dream. Like
pay so people like jump onto
£70 and you get to see like Ariana Grande, and it's like, well, I don't want to see her because she's not queer, and I don't want to pay £70 to do that.
I can see her every day on the telly.
Yeah.
Oh, so is this like corporations jumping onto it? Because I can't remember who was on it. Somebody else on the podcast was talking about Sainsbury's jumping on the bandwagon now, and then you look back at their old history, and they completely ostracise anybody who was gay in the community.
Yeah, that happens so much. Called pinkwashing.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like the whole thing of, we're in June now, so it's happening, like...
Yeah. The amount of people that have turned their logos into pride colours just for this.
Yeah, I don't like it on Facebook when my friend does it, and he's never expressed anything like, about having pride or anything like that, and all of a sudden he does it.
Yeah.
And I ask him why, he's like, so I can pull a girl. And I'm like, well...
Come on, get all original.
Also, there's companies like, I think M&S have done it, and Xbox, and there's a couple of others where they've, changed their logo so it's like rainbow on Twitter or whatever, but then left it in countries like Russia. But it's like you're either for us or against us.
Yeah.
You can't, give the LGBT community what they want in England where it's legal, and then keep your logo the same in places where it's illegal.
Yeah,
you need to fight for us in those countries, because
where we literally have no rights.
Yeah, like these are our brothers and sisters that don't have rights.
So is Russia one of the hard ones then?
Oh.
Is that like the...
Yeah.
I think I did see a YouTube video on that. Of like
Reggie Yates did a gay tour thing there, didn't he? Like a full investigation, and he was stood with people on the streets that were protesting and saying, look, they needed gay rights, and he was nearly arrested by just even being stood near them because he was actively protesting it.
Yeah.
So it's still sadly we've still got places in the world that aren't. I mean, we are one of the most progressive countries in the whole world. And I'm proud to say that we live like that, because we couldn't necessarily live the way we're living in other countries at this moment in time. And that makes me sad for those people. And do you know what?
And it's really nice to acknowledge that.
Yeah, and I think we notice that on probably even a daily, weekly basis that we're very, very lucky to be where we are. Loads of work to be done here, no doubt about that. But still lucky in the fact that we were born here, and well, I know our families are
Yeah.
very supportive of us as well, but there's still people here that aren't from supportive families, and yeah, we keep harping back to our bar, but it's the only sort of safe place that we've got in Doncaster at the moment. But those people who aren't supported from their families, and maybe some of their friends, are supported there.
Yeah, like, it's been a big thing in the queer community forever that, like, a lot of people build their own families out of the people around them, because even now, like, kids are getting kicked out because they're gay, kids are getting kicked out because they're trans, or they're having to live with a parent that's dead naming them continuously.
Yeah.
And I think it's something like, if you use correct pronouns and a correct name for a trans young person, then the rate, I think the suicide rate drops something like 43% less chance of them even trying. So we need spaces like the library where people can go in and build their own families. And like, queer families don't look like other families. It's not like mummy, daddy, baby. It's just a group of people that are of the same mindset, that need love and support and can love and support each other. Because most queer people I meet have got so much love to give. And that's like a really great thing. And now we've got that in Doncaster, like, we'll be able to see these relationships building right in front of our eyes.
100%.
And that's like why drag houses started. I don't know if you know that,
No.
but yeah, like, there's always the mother of a drag house, that's me, who will go around and find other drag artists to bring into their family, and that becomes their family. Not so much like we don't follow that because we've got supportive families, but like, they are my family, they're my ride or die. And I don't think there's anywhere else in the world you can get that apart from like queer safe spaces.
I'd say that's true. I'd say even like the filmmaking community is they're not very nice to each other. Or I think all, I think there's like I think it's like a fear thing in society. I think a lot of it is that, because even when I grew my hair out, it was like a 3-stage progress. But even I, who's come from like, I'd like to say in my life quite nice, there's a lot of subtle little things like, why have you done that? Like, just not too in your face about it, but just subtle things.
Snide, some might say. Yeah.
And I think that's like a fear thing of change. I don't think people like change.
Yeah.
I think as soon as you, because I like, up until I was probably about 18, I was going to join the police force or something like that, and I completely changed it to like do filmmaking, and it literally derailed. I didn't realise what it would do to my life, but it derailed it.
Yeah.
So I think it's different in our generation because we've all like grown up with this, but I think it is a fear thing.
Yeah.
I think people are just scared of change.
And it's inbred. It's inbred in people that they conform to what their mums and dads' ideals were for them, and they don't want to disappoint them.
But
I would never. Well, I was a disappointment at first, but then after, I think people. My mum and dad very supportive. Mum was completely supportive, but she had in her head he was going to get married to a tall, leggy blonde and have amazing kids and a great job and all this. I got the rest of it, but just didn't have the tall, leggy blonde.
He's definitely not a
tall, leggy
blonde.
Yeah, that's the same with my parents. My parents sort of saw me as like short back and sides, wear a suit, I'll be in an office, I'll get married 22, have children.
Their plan in their head was what we wanted to be done. Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. I
am what I am.
Yeah. So do you think that is one of the big problems then? Like, it's just like a fear of change.
Yeah, possibly. And I think people don't like seeing things that are different. I think like different freaks them out. Whereas for me, also I think people have a fear of seeing other people succeed. Like more than them, like going further than them.
I think it's like a bravery, isn't it? Yeah. Because like if you do anything what's a little bold or a little out there, you have to be brave because you're stepping into a community that isn't always going to accept you. So I think people admire the bravery and then get jealous off the back of that.
Yeah, absolutely. But for me, there's nothing better in life than seeing the people around me succeed and do well and chase the dreams and, just grab hold of their own life and shake it up, and I might not always agree with what my friends are going to do, but I'll support them to the bitter end. There were one moment where I was sat in the library and all the furniture were in and it were like ready, and I just sat on a seat and I just looked round and it were like, I couldn't believe it. Do you know what I mean? Like we've done this big massive thing, and if people weren't so ready and raring to grab life by the balls, then I wouldn't have been sat there in that moment. But like I got to be there in that moment and just absorb it.
Well,
and like, what a beautiful moment in life.
I think people need to realise as well, if your friend succeeds, you're probably going to succeed as well.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go up together.
Yeah.
It's like, if this podcast really takes off, everybody who's going to be on it we're all going to, it's going to help everybody out. And it's the same with, like, because there's a rap group called JXG who are getting quite close with them. And we're already creating so much off of each other, what we didn't even know. So, for example, if we're making a film at the moment, and we need a soundtrack, so we've asked them to help us with the soundtrack, and that's how it works.
Oh, the connections are amazing,
And that's what I mean. So I think people need to realise that if you actually dig in with people and actually help people and want people to succeed, we're all going to go to the same place. And it is that thing, if you surround yourself with successful people,
and like, just feed off the aura of it, you know. Somebody's like happy and they're enjoying life and they're doing what they want and they're not doing a shit job 9 to 5 that they're not interested in, you know. You get to be a part of that. It's not, for me, it's not even if I'm going to get anything from it. It's just enjoying that moment with that person.
How do you guys deal with COVID?
How do we deal with it personally?
Yeah, personally, or some people have actually enjoyed it because they're not very social anyway, so they're sort of just kept on doing the same thing. Some people complete opposite, absolutely hated it.
I mean, we still had a business, and we've been in pubs. So the old castle in Doncaster Town Centre, we've had that now for a while. So we carried on food and delivering food, and that went amazing for us. That we didn't really get a downtime, and then we went, right, it's still lockdown. What can we do? Let's renovate a bar. That is literally the dankest place you will ever see, but my God, do we need this for our season?
Do you have photos of like the original?
Yeah, it's actually in the library as well, so how it was when we walked in compared to obviously you see it how it is now. So that was our lockdown. I think you had lots of projects on, didn't you?
I had 7 weeks of dramatic depression. Where I managed to watch every episode of Bake Off that's ever been made, trying to homeschool a 13-year-old.
But you touch on that there, and the depression side of our community is rife as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So especially in lockdown, and that's one of the reasons we did the bath. Oh my God, there is people in our community that have never wanted to physically come out into Doncaster because it is the way it is. They're now stuck at home, potentially on their own, have got no social life apart from Zoom if they've got it. We need somewhere for these people to go, and why can't we just make that? And we made it. So yeah, you touch on a subject where it's still close to our queer hearts, really, depression and anxiety and things like that, which probably is not talked about enough.
No, probably not.
Openly.
Yeah. But yeah, I did that, and that was like crap. Because like, I do drag, you know, like that's what I do.
You feed off people, don't you?
Yeah, it was like the worst thing ever, just like not being able to do it anymore. And then I started seeing people on social media that would like getting in drag at home and, you know, doing photo shoots and whatever. And I thought, well, I'm not doing that because the bit of drag that I hate the most is sitting down and looking in the mirror at my own potato bald face and like having to start. I thought, why am I going to go through that entire process to then have a coffee and a fag and take it all off? It just seemed pointless. And then after a while, I thought, I'm going to have to do something. So I just started, and it just kind of snowballed, and then it was like I couldn't stop. It was like every day I was getting up, I was getting in drag. I started making music videos. I learned how to edit videos, which I never thought I'd be able to do in like a million years. But now I'm like in a position where, if you give me 3 days to film, I can have it filmed, edited, and out, sorted.
So you sort of turned depression into like something else, haven't you?
Yeah, and now I'm like, we did a sneaky fluidity when the pubs opened again, didn't we? We did a private event, and we could do a fluidity night. And I did a performance that had 2 parts. It had a female part and a male part, so I made a video that was the female part and projected it onto a sheet, and I performed the male part. Never would have done that before COVID. Wouldn't have known where to start.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So I always think I think the best artists are the ones where they've been given nothing, they've been given a hard situation, and they've got to build something off that hard situation. Yeah. I always think like a filmmaker's first film is usually their best. Yeah. It's got like a lot of interest in
like,
working.
Giving it their all. Yeah.
So have you always worked in pubs? Are you going to come back
That was always
background?
hotels.
Hotels.
I love Hilton hotels to come and open pubs. So yeah, but it was just the working for myself part that I wanted to do more than anything. I've had to drop my hotel standard of everything and go what's been ingrained in me for 15 years.
What is the hotel standard?
I was there was things that just even our team were doing that. I was like, no, you can't do that. And we're like, Sam, you're in a pub now. And you're in a Donny pub for that.
Yeah, you're in Castle.
That's fine. We can swear with customers now. It's not sir and madam. We go by just people and just general hello.
What hotel did you work at?
Oh,
Like a really fancy...
God, I've opened a few hotels. I've worked at Hampton by Hilton, Doubletrees in Lincoln, and Hull. The management group I looked after just really sent me around everywhere really, and managed hotels that were either failing or needed a general manager to nip in and keep everything ticking while that was happening. And then I just went to my managing director, look, I need to do something for myself now. I've made other people millions of pounds. I want to try and make my own millions, which is nowhere near now. It's probably less than what I were when I was working.
It's gone the other way, hasn't it?
But yeah, when we have a franchise of the library somewhere else, maybe Sheffield, then Leeds, then wherever, we might see some of that come back.
But I think even if you're not making I still think you feel. But even if you just do your own thing in life, it's not necessarily going great. I think you still feel better.
Yeah,
I'd rather fail on my own terms than somebody else's
the
terms.
happiness and how content I feel now out of that corporate life is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That I could not walk back into an office now and do that reporting structure, someone else is your boss type of thing. Nah.
I just can't do 9 to 5. I like having shifts at night, shifts in the morning. Working all over the place.
Yeah, dealing with events and that kind of thing. I mean, I've done events to 2,000 people. And that's the stress that comes out of that is unbelievable. And then I walk into my own businesses and think, my God, this is actually what it's about. Reaping the rewards financially, fantastic. But you know what? That support and that spirit from getting everyone together, the fluidity nights, God, it's just the atmosphere is electric. And all the drag queens that we've got coming and drag kings as well is amazing for our community in Doncaster. So it's an exciting time to be starting all of this, and everyone's, like we were talking about mindset earlier, we are in a slightly different mindset, and that's all we needed. That was just our oomph to do. Do you know, we've moved a bit in society. Let's grab onto that chance, use that now, and we can make some really great memories for people who come in.
So how does the bar work? Is it just like a normal open 7 days a week, or do you have events on Fridays or Saturdays?
Yeah, so we're not open 7 days a week now. From tomorrow we're open Tuesdays. So we're open Tuesdays, Fridays and Saturdays, and then bank holiday Sundays when they come around. So we just wanted to test the water. We've always got a drag influence on a Friday and Saturday night. Someone from the house will always be there, and just adding that flair that you wouldn't get by just opening the doors. You need that flair, someone literally that just looks amazing.
Yeah.
Can chat to anyone, get the drinks flowing, give that presence. It's a shame that they can't be dancing around as much as they want to be and performing, because everyone is performance, aren't they, from the house. So yeah, it's a shame, but those days are coming, and hopefully, well, they're even talking about July the 5th now, aren't they, rather than the end. So if everything's going right and the R numbers coming down and everyone's vaccinated, July the 5th could be a date where they release some restrictions and then the full restrictions for the 19th.
Where are the restrictions at the moment? Is it...
Yeah, so no live performances unless it's as COVID secure as it possibly can be.
They're supposed to be outside, aren't they?
Outside. We've got Miss Penny, a drag queen, who actually hosts Doncaster Pride. She's coming this Saturday, but it's a sat-down table serviced event where she is literally going to be stood on the stage. She can't get in the crowd. So even though the atmosphere is going to be there, it's not as it usually would be, but everyone is just craving for those kinds of performances. So it's good that we can accommodate that. And we've got 2 levels in our bar. So we've got a cellar bar where that's going to be happening, and then that's going to be the good grungy vibe down there when we're open. It's the club down there. And then upstairs is the lounge area, so we've got big Chesterfield sofas and that kind of thing.
Pool table,
yeah.
So that's how it's more chill.
Much more chilled upstairs, but it's a bit...
That's where you go to sober up a little bit.
Yeah, sober up a bit up there. Good coffee through the day, that kind of thing. Cocktails. So yeah, it's an all-in-one venue, really.
So wait, because I think this is interesting for anybody. When you came up with the idea, how fast did all this move?
Well, we
Lightning?
needed to find. Yeah, it was quite like lightning actually. We needed to find the owner of the building, and we couldn't find him anywhere. And we found him because he was
living in a boat somewhere.
yeah, on his yacht.
Yeah.
So we found him in the end. Negotiated how much it would be to look around it and all that kind of thing. Knew there was a lot of work to do with it. So we took over the tenancy of it. So the lease started in February, and yeah, we were open by that first week in that week in May. The 17th we were allowed to open.
That's
we
really
opened
fast.
on the 21st. So yeah, we were literally in there every day. All our team at the castle were just working extra hours so that we could be let go and go into the library and get all that painted. And it is like an old stately home library. It's just pictures all over the walls and old books.
Did you have like an idea in mind how you wanted it to look, or did you just
It was
wing
actually
it?
the idea came from my esteemed colleague here. The library is. We've called it we actually found out it used to be a library.
No
in the 70s.
way!
Yeah, did I have to tell you this?
No!
Oh my God. So Jenny, who is Pride, basically, she's sort of Pride, she's the head of the Pride committee, Jenny Dewsnap, she found out that it used to be a library in the 70s for Doncaster College, I think it was.
Okay.
The
the old college.
Yeah, the old
Where-
college, old
yeah.
Waterdale, I think.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, so it harked back to those kind of days. More of a public library than an old stately home we've made it now. But yeah, so, and then the library part of it, for as we wanted it to be, is from a RuPaul's Drag Race game, and everybody knew that. there
Sam,
would be a
it's from
slide.
ballroom culture.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was from
RuPaul took it from ballroom culture.
Well, there we go. We'll go from
The inside scoop.
The inside scoop.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to just necessarily put a pride flag out the front of it. We wanted just a name that maybe our community would just know that it's a queer bar, and that's one of the reasons. But
So you're sort of like
it's definitely like code. You either know it or you don't.
You're applying to like the fringe group. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, we could just put pride flags everywhere in it, and we've got a pride flag up because it's Pride Month. But we didn't necessarily want to just jump on the bandwagon of that. We just wanted it for our queer community and have it for that, and don't want it to stick out and go, it's just for us, because it isn't. And we want to educate and communicate our way of living, which isn't any different to anyone else's. We're just a bit more extrovert on everything, and it's
not an important question, but did you find any like weird stuff left over? I love when you go into like abandoned places and
there's
you find
an old piano that's
records.
still there that we've just literally polished up. That's probably been there 30-40 years. The toilets have been fixed because they used to flood all the time, apparently, when it was...
Weren't there some Halloween decorations in there?
Oh, Halloween decorations, yeah. But it was a weed factory before we took it over.
Oh,
so we had to get rid of all the...
Really?
foil
yeah.
panels.
So it's
Yeah,
Nice.
so that was found out by the owner, and he instantly obviously ripped all that out from the previous tenants. So yeah, it's had its heydays and low days and good
So
days and bad days.
it was a bit of a front then.
Yeah.
There's a shop at the end of somewhere in the end of Doncaster, and it's a magnifying glass shop, right? Why would there be a shop dedicated to magnifying glasses? Definitely a drum front.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a definitely quirky building. But no, nothing that out of the ordinary found. I thought we'd found some like nice little treasures, like bar memorabilia and stuff. There was nothing really. It was all just damp and needed ripping out, and starting again, which we did, and kept what we could do. From an original feature point of view, there's like hand painted like bar signs and like railings and things like that. So we tried to make it as complimentary as we could, really.
Do you have a lot of the stuff already to bring in, or do you have to put a lot of your own? From scratch.
I wish we had stuff that we could bring. Yeah, there's some old bits and bobs that we wanted to put in there, because we didn't want it to be brand new, but everything we bought new, we wanted it to look and in keep with it. So the Chesterfield sofas that we've got in there are old, like brown ones, but they're new, but they don't look necessarily as new as they would do if we got them sparkly. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's all dark wood and things like that. So yeah, it's not modern in any way. It's played to its like 1940s, I think it was built.
Yeah, like the colour scheme is the pride flag, but like more dual toned, like dark. Because I'm just gonna be real honest. I'm just gonna put my hands up right now and say that I find the pride rainbow quite tacky.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. And there are that many rainbows now, aren't there?
Yeah, for everything. Everyone has a rainbow, don't they? So to fit with that kind of library loungy feel, like just bring them down deeper colours.
Yeah,
and it's stunning.
quite very muted, quite dark. It's filament bulbs. It's that kind of thing. So it's not outly overly gay, pride proud. If that's even a term.
Yeah.
You would go in there and just be be yourself and not think, oh my god, it's a bit overly grotesque and mirrors and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else happening in the area what you could like partner with, or is it just you guys by yourself?
No, it's just us really.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is. We've got a great partnership from a business and bar point of view to our queens that are resident there. They very much are their own people and their own house, but we partner really, really great from our backgrounds and things. So yeah, it's a perfect partnership there.
And like all the other talent you've got coming in, all the like queens from Drag Race and stuff, like Doncaster's never seen that before. Nobody has ever been in a position to get somebody from Drag Race in.
These are queens that are touring the world, and we're bringing them to Doncaster. So it's going to be a great atmosphere. I mean, if we ever wanted to go and see a RuPaul Drag Race queen, we'd have to have gone nearest Sheffield. So yeah, it's a train ride, that kind of thing. But
like people will travel for that. Yeah. People will travel for that, and we have like a massive advantage in that it's quite small in comparison to where you'd normally see like Drag Race queens, like Leadmill, places like that, O2 academies and stuff. Whereas we've got like a 200 capacity downstairs.
Yeah, 150 downstairs, 200 upstairs. Yeah.
Right, so 150 downstairs, like that level of intimacy with a queen of that stature.
Yeah,
like,
walking through the crowd, that kind of thing.
You're not going to get that anywhere else.
I reckon that's because you put that work in, I think people actually...
It's been hard work.
No, because you're saying you didn't want the flag. I think you guys do something completely original. Like, you're doing something proper.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what's attracted people...
I think we wanted integrity to come through in everything that we did. Integrity and respect to our brothers and sisters out there that are... that do feel like they're on the outskirts in the fringe, but we can put a pub in the centre of Doncaster town centre, which isn't at a point yet where we want it to be, and still be out proud, but give you somewhere of quality and great cocktails, great drinks, great
bit of luxury. Like, it's something that we've never had as a community, is somewhere with a bit of luxury. Like I said before, we're always like, it's gay bar, get your sense in. Yeah, shut up.
And they generally were good nights, but it wasn't anything about...
There was nothing luxury about it. No, it was always falling to bits. Nobody ever had any money to put into it. It was just somewhere for us to go that weren't where everybody else was.
Was that owned by like... Is that owned by like a company, or was that like owners who set it up themselves?
Probably the gay pubs have actually still been owned by our community, by gay people. But maybe it just wasn't the right time to be how we are now. I mean, I wouldn't ever sort of downgrade anything they did, because it was probably just right at the time.
Yeah, and it was always a money thing. Like, I've managed to swing it and get this bar, but like I've literally managed to get this bar. Like, I can't do anything with it. Apart from open doors and let you in.
Yeah.
Like, when we were working at All Cross, it were literally like, I remember we painted bar between us, and that were it. That were it. Money had gone.
Already gone.
We sanded and painted the bar, and that were it. Money had gone. We couldn't even afford to clean carpets or anything like that. So, yeah, it were great, and we had somewhere to be, and wonderful. But as queer people in Doncaster, we've never been afforded luxury.
But do you think that's made you stronger?
Oh God, yeah, definitely.
Everything your own.
Definitely, but having the library and being able to go somewhere and take in beautiful surroundings, like properly trained staff, and not just like off-brand vodka and coke out of a plastic glass. You can drink a cocktail out of a glass.
Cut glass, I'll have.
Yeah. We've never had that before. Straight people, they go to Slug and Lettuce and they can have a tree of passion fruit martini, Polestar martinis or whatever, and not blink, not think twice. But we've never had that, and now we've got it.
I might branch out into debauchery now. That's crying out for that.
Yeah, no.
Something a bit swanky.
That's the part where I'm from. That's definitely to get down there.
But really, it's it's perfection in comparison to everything else that we've had. Because it's not just here you go, here's your space. It's somewhere that you want to go to.
I bet that's an amazing feeling to see where it's come from to now.
Yeah.
Like a professional edge.
That's it. And I think that's probably from you and your guys' background, the professional edge, as well as mine and my husband's. Like, we've been in hotels, and we know how business runs, and we know what people want out of a place. It's not just.
So are you always like tapped into what's happening? So you know, to like change with the times.
Yeah, I think you have to be. Whether it's we know now from a money making point of view, because we're in business to make money as well as make a difference. RuPaul's drag queens are at the pinnacle they've ever been.
Yeah.
Let's get them in. It's going to be an amazing night for everyone to be there, and we'll try and make some money off of that. But then there's also drag kings. We've got a great drag king night that we are doing. Local drag kings who aren't represented in our community as much. So let's get them in as well. So we've got everyone from touring the world to our drag kings we're trying to bring to the forefront.
I like that. So it's like you're playing both sides.
Yeah.
It's like underground and like the commercial top.
And literally they are going to be underground as well because it's down in our cellar. I think we always need that bit of an edge of something a bit quirky down there.
Well, no, the underground gets into the mainstream as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it always has been. That bar's always had a bit of a name for itself. As a vintage rock bar, and it was a bit of a titty bar one.
It was a titty bar, yeah. It is again now, I'd say.
When you're on.
Yeah. No, but I think there's something really interesting here in there. Like people just do. It's like when the art bomb thing was happening. We're gonna volunteer to do things in it. So we've got our own work displayed in it, but at the same time we're gonna be ushering and stuff like that. So I think anybody from Doncaster, I think we've got these skills where not only are we creating things, but we can also get our hands dirty as well.
Yeah,
I don't see that skill anywhere else. Like if you go to Manchester. Like I talk to filmmakers that they have people carrying bags for them and stuff like that. And I've always carried my own bag anywhere I've gone, and so I think that is fundamentally like a town sort of thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, here to Donny.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ever want to move away. I don't think.
No, I spent my entire teenage years being like, I'm going to leave this place. I'm never going to look back. Like I hate it. I hate you all, and then when I like started doing drag and like met Ebony and we'd started doing fluidity, I just thought, I don't think I ever want to leave this place. Because if I had Bipolar Abdul at 15, if I had her to look at on social media or go and see at Pride or whatever, then I'd have probably figured my shit out a lot quicker.
That's really, so you're saying that you're helping the youth?
Yeah,
like.
I think it's so important that like queer youth can see happy queers, because that's one thing that you don't really see, not even on TV. Like it's a lot of the times if you see queer people on TV, it's sad. It's, look at this trauma that they're going through, and homophobia is rife, and we've just had It's a Sin, which was necessary, but absolutely harrowing from start to finish. I think it's incredibly important for young people to see queer people that are adults and are happy and are thriving. Because I'd have got to my orientation and identity a lot quicker. If I just thought I was very weird for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I got to about 24 and someone went ping and I thought, I'm non-binary. It took all that time.
So if you do it like this, it would be a lot faster for the youth now too.
Yeah, because they can see it, they have that representation, they can talk to us.
Well, that is so true. Now, if you watch a film about anything, even if it's sort of accurate, the depiction, it's so depressing. Like it doesn't have to be about drag, it can be about anything what you're interested in. Like there's so many apocalypse movies now, and with what's happening in the world, sometimes I can't watch them. I'm like, it's just too close to reality.
Definitely. Yeah.
So it's nice to see that sort of celebrated.
Yeah.
It's why I like American Horror so much, because it sort of celebrates like they're all quite sexy and they're all like good and bad at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It is. It's but no, I do like Donny, and do you know what, we talk about its bad points quite a lot, but do you know what, as our hometown, it's it'll always have a piece of my heart, I think.
Yeah, same.
That's because when I moved out like, all right, I'm leaving this town behind.
Yeah.
Like, I saw it in the weird. I literally, my girlfriend was driving out. I saw it in the wind mirror, and I think I was playing like a Sinatra song, like leaving this town. And I was like, I've left. Anyway, and I was like, hang on, I kind of liked it there in the end. But I don't know what that is now. Yeah. Even though I've had like my own traumas here and stuff, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, running. When we took the old castle over, I don't know if you know the old castle in the marketplace.
Yeah.
We were obviously taking on a huge legacy in that pub of one, it was open and closed all the time. It was open, it would close, it was open, it closed. No one could make it physically work from a financial point of view. And our pub was known for a bit of a bad reputation. Now, people probably still think that because they don't know we run it, and they're probably thinking back 5-10 years. Now, but we have our regulars that come into that pub that embrace my husband and I like we are like them, and these are generally straight people that come in there, have probably never even met a gay person before, and I say that openly and truthfully. And even those people are going to support us in the library, and they support us as just people. They support us financially, they're great confidants, they're great people, but they are very different to our clientele that we were set out to open the library to, but they're so accepting. And those people wouldn't have been that accepting a few years back when it was opened by different people or different landlords. So, and I mean, we brought fluidity to the back room of our
I don't think people are fundamentally bad. I don't think they just need to learn.
And people, and they have such an interpretation of how gay people are or queer people are, whether that's from media, whether that is from just other people that they've met, and we are all diverse. We are all very different, and yeah, the way that my husband and I present, maybe on a day-to-day professional basis, we don't present overly queer, with more me than Craig, but but yeah, so maybe they just think in their head that everyone is the way they've seen on TV or whatever, and then they meet us and they go, oh,
it's always a
maybe
misconception.
This is just my little stepping stone into this world that I didn't know was there, and it's not necessarily being pushed in my face. I hate that word when people say you've been shoving it down my throat. Ugh, no, we're not shoving it down your throat, we're just being us.
Well, if you click on it, or if you know what I mean, if you go to that place, how can somebody shove it down your throat? Because you've actively gone there.
Yeah, exactly. So so the Old Castle was our first sort of open our eyes to Donny is not a bad place. These people are our clientele that come there are people who really have made us from a business point of view to be able to open the library. So we'll be forever grateful for them, and they aren't bad people. The pub had its bad name, the people were the bad name. So those our two bars are very, very different and have very different clientele, but they work perfectly together, and that's the Donny where we should be, where people aren't bothered about. I know a couple of weekends ago, two of our gay friends got thrown out of a straight-led pub, a straight-run pub, for being gay because they kissed in that pub.
Really?
Yeah. They were
Is
thrown
it this
out.
in like Solar Street sort of thing?
No, very, very close.
Go on, name and shame.
No, very close. No, I'd never do that because I don't think it's right from a business point of view. I don't think it's fine from a respect level that I have for myself as a business owner.
But do you think
and
it's
they
like
came straight to the library and said what had happened, and we advised them to go to the police about it because it was a hate crime.
But do you think the owners were like showing off in front of their straight friends,
I think probably,
or do you think it was? I just can't believe that things like that still happen.
And it shocked us as a safe space that someone would do that. It shocked me as a modern guy in modern Britain to hear someone say that they have been thrown out of a pub for kissing their partner in a straight-led pub, and they came to us physically crying. So do you know what?
Can I ask you? I'll just ask this one question. I want to gain more. Is this quite a well-established place, or is it?
Yeah. And there's been other places in Doncaster as well. So I think we always say there's more to do. There's a huge amount to do, but there still are good people out there that do support us from a straight ally point of view. So I think we always harp on about there's a load to do, but there is people out there that aren't like that. And we can't tar every straight person with that brush, as you can't tar us with any other brushes that we.
But do you think that's like a bit of like a? Obviously it's bullying, but do you think it's a bit of a power thing as well? Like it's just something they want to. They might not be necessarily like that, but they're doing.
It's just school bully, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that I want to make a spectacle out of you, which makes me look better around my friends that are in the same mindset as me.
Yeah.
I
And
think
that's
maybe
not a mindset to be proud of.
some people still see like same-sex affection as like a post-watershed thing, like a thing not to be seen.
I can't believe they're doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think it's the other thing of maybe they're dealing with their own frustrations and maybe I always found all my friends who were a little like that have now come out.
Yeah.
Like they were always frustrated. I had a friend who would bully this other kid, like really bully him, and but then they got along, and then he came out about 2 months ago. And I was like, well, of course.
Yeah.
Seen it too many times. And yeah, it's from I'm probably maybe more astute to that, just being a gay man, because I see that more in gay men, maybe from a from any other part of our community more. I can't say 100%, but obviously from a gay point of view, I see it a lot. And there's people that I went to school with now that have literally just come out, and I'm 32. So, and I'm only just seeing this happen, and I knew all the way through school that look.
Yeah.
I knew that look as soon as I saw it, but they were straight, they had girlfriends, they were popular, they were all that. They didn't want to lose that popularity or get any stigma against their name if they were going to come out or be gay, even just after school.
You know, there's like a statistic like 1 in 10 men are gay. I don't think that's true. Because
I thought it was 1 in 3.
I'm saying it's got to
Yeah.
be now, because I literally had, and Peter's talking about, I have literally 8 friends now what have come out gay. Well, they haven't come out, but
I mean, what did you say the other day? You'd never come out.
Oh,
You've never had to come out, yeah.
No, I've never formally come out.
Come out as anything.
Yeah.
Why do we need to?
I just am.
If I was now, would I come out? Why would I need to come out? I don't need to come out. Why do whoever's straight comes out as straight? Because they don't. They just are what they are.
Yeah, but it's the default, isn't it?
It is, and it's the same shame we're still thinking like that.
Yeah.
But hopefully, in like we've been saying, about 5 or 10 years' time, people won't necessarily just come out. They just come in with a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a non-binary friend, or whatever they want to come out with.
That'd be such a nice society, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh God, it's yeah.
Yeah, but you still do get it now. You still get like it's mainly higher up. Even if it's a white guy dating like a black girl, like the elders would be like, I've seen this before. Like an older generation say, "Oh, well, they're gonna have trouble." Yeah. And I say to them, "Well, what do you mean they're gonna have trouble?" And then they're gonna go, "Oh, they're gonna have trouble." I'm like, "Based on what? Like, where's this coming from?"
Yeah.
I'm glad we've got a mindset change to be able to challenge that and think of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, sadly, it is going to be a few generations before we can get rid of it. To a point where it's so marginalised that it's not there. It's not even thought about anymore. It's just.
Well, do you think it's got? I think this is just my view. I think it's got to change from like the masculine pose as well, because like, this idea of what an alpha male is to me is like everybody thinks an alpha male is. I disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think that's at all. And I think it's got to come from there. I think this idea of what a man should be, the idea of what a woman should be, the idea of what anybody should be, it's got to change.
It's scrapped, yeah, absolutely.
Completely redone, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is slowly changing, quite holistically as well. It's just going, this is going to be a new norm of what that particular means. It's gradually changing, and I think that will change how people perceive it over time, rather than it just going, oh well, no, a man can wear a bit of foundation, is still alpha male.
Yeah.
A man, oh now we can put a bit of mascara, and I don't think it's that. I think it will just change.
It was always the thing, like, well, I'll just use an example, like Gary Newman always wore like black eyeliner, right? But people, just because he was a rock star, he was allowed to do that.
Yeah.
They wasn't allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And I think when people start allowing themselves to do that, I think that's when it will also change.
Yeah. I think people think that they have to have a talent or something that overshines the fact that they're doing that to be able to be accepted for that, rather than just being them and wearing a bit of bloody makeup. I mean, why would that ever say that you're a man or a woman, just because historically women have always worn makeup? It's just...
Yeah, but Georgian men did, you know what I mean? Like,
that's it, yeah.
No,
whiter than white, weren't they?
Yeah.
No, but so many of like the great icons, all like Rolling Stones would wear women's clothing when they played.
Look at Harry Styles now. Like, he's really pushing boundaries of what he wants to do. I mean, some bits are publicity, some bits aren't, but if you can be in the public eye and do something like that, and be...
I think it's changed. I thought if I ever do like a red carpet for a film or anything like that, I'm always going to wear something shocking.
Yeah.
I've got to. Just because I don't know what that is.
Nothing.
It's
the most shocking thing, isn't it?
I think it's just sort of... I just like the idea of just confronting like this, like a stiff society.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Just change this rubbish thing. But just going back, do you think like this misconception, because it happens in the film world, when I say I'm making films, people think I'm trying to be a Hollywood director. Yeah. I'm not. Like, I make films on like $3,000 or something. You know what I mean? I'm not making massive films. I'm happy being in that bracket. I don't want to go up. Like, I want to make indie films. So do you think that's the same with all the arts, and like people just don't know what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
Just don't know what it is.
I think the equivalent for me is, are you going to go on Drag Race?
Yeah.
I must get asked that 5 or 6 times every time I'm in drag. The answer is no, I'm never going to go on Drag Race. I don't want to go on Drag Race. I don't need to go on Drag Race. I don't need RuPaul's approval. I feel like I'm a better drag queen than him anyway. Yeah, I'm happy with like doing what I'm doing, ruffling feathers, being in Donny. Like, I don't think I need to aim for Drag Race at all, ever.
to prove your drag. Because you proved your drag.
I mean, I'm not allowed on anyway, but that's
Yeah, but all the actual best talent are like sometimes they never like all the best writers in history.
Yeah.
Either were found when they died.
Oh god, yeah.
Or
same with artists, isn't it?
It's
just,
I mean, there's a woman called Vivian Mayer, I think it is. She's like a photographer.
Right.
And she's like probably the best photographer of all time, my opinion. And all her stuff was locked away in like chests in her attic, and it only just got found now because she was so scared to like lay it out to the public. But it's the most incredible work you'll ever see. And so I think there is this thing. I generally do think like a true artist is part of them just does not want to be seen.
Yeah. Well, a true artist doesn't feed into capitalism.
No.
I think that's what it is. Like, I do drag because I love doing drag. Like, I'd be doing drag still if I weren't getting paid for doing drag. That's just a little bonus that comes along with it. But I mean, how often do I just sit and do drag at home? Like, I do drag because I love it.
Yeah.
I love being a drag queen. I love being a drag
Was it one of
artist.
those things where you couldn't not do the thing?
Yes.
That's like me with filming. I could not make the film.
Yeah.
It just sort of happened.
Yeah, I'd rather lose my hand, I think, and stop doing drag, definitely.
But I think you can tell someone's passion when you see their work.
Yeah.
That is it, and that's what, I mean, makes me smile anytime I see anyone perform in our place. It's amazing, and that feeling that you don't get anywhere else.
Do you think like the mainstream, like this like amateur talent taught by amateur people, like or like because the judges, I always feel like they're I haven't seen the Paul Rudd, but like I always feel like they're amateur judges as well. You know, like on the X Factor, I always think, couldn't you find better judges?
They do just put the
like
token gay on there, don't they? Just to
never
say
drag artists or fashion designers or
someone
like
who's
that.
going to really
or somebody with like a really in-depth opinion. They're always somebody who's got like a they can do a soundbite or say something what sounds good.
Oh, an innuendo. Like, and it's just at the end of the day, it's just 4 people's opinions.
Yeah.
It means nothing. The stuff that I do in drag, I do it for me because I think it's funny or I think it's important. And if people like it, then great. If people don't, then fine. I still liked it.
You're a talking point. Like, honestly, some of the things that I see on your stories and the videos, the art films that you do, some of them actually like get me. Like it's heartfelt, it's real, and it's probably the most real things you'll see because it's coming from your heart and what you love to do. And I think it's drag at its highest form. It's not just necessarily parading yourself down a catwalk and showing off a look. There's a talent in it. Is it talent moving forward? No. But you live and breathe it, and I think that's the difference. And I think you can feel that in everything.
I know. I think it's the same with every single art form. It's like if you're reading a book, you can tell if that writer really bled to write the words compared to like a writer who's just trying to write for somebody else. But you can tell the real artist like that.
I think a lot of it for me is like there seems to be a load of like superficial rules that have appeared around drag. So I've just shed all of them and don't adhere to any of it.
What those rules be?
You've got to wear nails. You've got to have like big hair. Always got to wear like a lot of makeup, like mainly eyeliner and things like that. A lot of it's based around female impersonation, which I'm not interested in. So I spent a long time trying to kind of battle with these rules and do it, and I just got where I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going forwards. I'm just stagnant because I'm just sitting in this bubble of like boundaries, not interested. So I started like dressing up as things rather than people or a woman. I shed all this femininity. I weren't interested in it anymore. It's about like building characters and building a backstory, and sometimes I'll be like a character and I'll be in jogging bottoms. Now you'll be hard pressed to find another drag queen that'd have jogging bottoms on and still say they were in drag, but like that's me.
So is there a bit of like a stigma in like the drag to like stay to one thing, one outfit?
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry.
That's interesting. So you're shaking up the art form.
I am.
There we go. They are the best sort of artists, the ones who shape things up.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyone who came in last Friday would see that art form shook up 100%. You had a little picnic at one point, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I dressed up like Chucky Finster, but it were like sexy Chucky Finster, you know, from Rugrats. Yeah, and I had some little carrot sticks and a juice box, and I got my little rainbow napkin out, laid it all out, sat and had that. Yeah, I like to make people think. I like to make them be like, oh, like a children's character, but like sexy, like leg garters and things. Yeah. It's about.
You're gonna have to come once. You're gonna have to come.
This just sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's much more than just dressing up in some regalia and chatting to people. It's loads more than that for me.
Yeah. No, there is some like I don't know what it is. It is like when you think of these things, is it like you just feel it at the time and you do it, or is it like a well thought out thing? I think it's like because if I like listen to music and I'm walking around like my room, I'll suddenly like incorporate myself into that band or into that thing, and I'll feel like I'm wearing different clothes, and I feel so. Is it like that sort of thing?
It can be. It can be very quick, and we're running with it, or it can be a really big, huge process that takes a long time. It depends. It depends what my mental health's like at the time. So yeah, like the Chucky thing, that was quick. I found the T-shirt, his T-shirt that he wears with the planet on. I found it in a vintage shop for £5. So that's like, it were a snap thing. We bought it and we were away with it. It were happening. But then, yeah, other times it can be writing notes, listening to different things, watching stuff, making lists of people and actors and actresses and characters that, I might want to dip into. Yeah, my process is all over. It's different every time.
Cool. Is it like, does it take like a week to do like one thing, or is it like a day? Can you do it in a day, or is it different times?
Again, it can be different times. The Chucky thing, I had that done, like the full outfit sorted in like 2 days.
Well, this is why I was so attracted to the Rolling Stones, because they would just go to like a charity shop and just throw the stuff on. They're supposed to, because obviously the Beatles are like in suits and ties, and the Stones come along and they just go to charity shop, they'll just throw dresses on and stuff like that. There's something about that. What is just, I don't know, it's freeing and sort of addictive.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I remember me and a band, we went down Silver Street dressed in like women's clothing, because we were playing like as women in this band, and we obviously got a lot of like stick for it, but there was something about it that was just fucking addictive. I don't know what it was. Adrenaline, maybe. Yeah. Should we end it on that?
That's an ending. I like it.
No, but yeah, there's a song by the Stones called Melody, and they dress up as women. So we're like, we've got to try and perform. I can't sing or anything like that, but I was like, alright, I want to try it. And because I was going through this whole period where we were completely living like this rock and roll, drinking, smoking, really out there. We thought we'll push it, and that's why we were talking about earlier, Silver Street. It's flashing back to that, and we just got out of a taxi and walked down. Like the amount of like grief we got, but there was something about it that was nice. I feel like
How did you feel about you?
it made me feel good, because like look, I've always liked tearing down. That's why I got into filming, because it wasn't like the Hollywood film. It was just a film that was about somebody who was so different, or it was something surreal. So like when you're talking there, I completely get the immersion of it.
I walked as well from my house to the library.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it by myself. If I was by myself, I don't think I could do it.
No, I do it.
That confidence piece is, I don't think I could.
It started through necessity though, like I have to get to work. And I find it more intimidating getting in a taxi.
Because you close contact with one
I
person.
think so, but then I would do this walking.
What are you thinking what the taxi driver's going to say?
I don't know.
Is it
I
like
don't know
that
what it is. I think maybe because I have to talk to him or whatever. But no, I just walk down the
And I mean, because you could just block everyone else out, like, you can just walk down, it could be.
But people shout stuff at me from cars, like all the time.
I just honestly just don't think like. I think the fashion movement goes to that point. Like I feel like Jaden Smith, he was doing really cool stuff. I think he was like one of the first boys wearing what do you call it? The skirt.
Great.
No, but we're trying to do like an open dialogue as well. So obviously now we feel a bit more. Now we've met each other.
Yeah.
Obviously in the future people can come back,
Yeah.
and we're gonna try and have different hosts as well. I